What's up, guys? I'm Nelik with Nelik Mobile Gaming, and I'm here to bring you a ton of content on Lord of the Rings, Heroes of Middle-earth over the next few months, and maybe years. Who knows? We'll see. Anyway, one of the series of videos that I want to be putting out is going to be my top 10 series. So today, we're looking at the top 10 support characters in the game right now. Let's get into it. Alright, so to make this top 10 list, I'm using data from LotR.gg. Now, if you haven't heard of this website or been to it, stop what you're doing, check it out right now. It's an amazing resource. It's completely free. People that run it are awesome. They're constantly updating it. It's got every character's abilities, their stats. You can go in here. You can look at all their abilities. You can go over here to stats. Sort by all of these. You can change their star level, gear tier, all that stuff. They also have just added a feature where you can actually upload your player profile and guild, and you can search other players, and so it's going to be a really awesome thing. So anyway, I'm a statistics guy, so that's where I'm getting my data from. I'm also bringing it into this master spreadsheet that I use, and I really use this thing to make these hard decisions. And we know this game is super gold crunch heavy right now. You don't want to be spending any resources that you don't have to. And so I've made this spreadsheet to help me sort through characters that are, good, middle of the road, not so good, don't ever upgrade them, things like that. And I'll also say right now, I'm going to be giving this spreadsheet away for free to the public. As soon as I put out my last top 10 video. Make sure you stay tuned, subscribe, keep watching. I think this is a great resource. It's going to help you a lot. So if you're interested in that, stick around. All that disclaimer aside, let's get into the top 10 videos. Alright, number 10. So for number 10, I kind of did a little honorable mention type thing, because there's actually 11 support characters in the game right now. These two don't really count as support characters. And that is, without further ado, Rock my mama like a wagon wheel, and Goldburrs. Anyway, these characters, they're called supports. They've got support up here. CG has labeled them as support characters. They're not support characters. They are attacker, damage dealers, whatever you want to call them. They're basically providing some damage for the team. And very good damage, actually. They will be in other top 10 lists. Wink, wink. So, because they're support characters, I wanted to put them in here as an honorable mention. But they are not going to be counting for this list. So that brings us to number 9. At number 9, we've got Alreda the Chieftain. Now, she is he is no, we'll go with she. We'll go with she. Who knows? She is not a great character at all. In fact, she's very, very awful, to say the least. And that's why she is a support character, but she's at the bottom of the list. Basically, she's a leader for the Dunlingding team. The Dunlingding is very lackluster right now. They only have 3 people, so it's not even a complete squad. Their whole thing is this blood frenzy, and they're just not getting enough of it. And so she does provide some blood frenzy, and they can do some cool stuff with that. She does have a blind, which is good. Blinds are very good in this game. But other than that, she's not bringing much to the table. And for that reason, she is number 9. So we'll jump over here and look at her stats. Very average health. Speed average. Everything's kind of average. Her damage is just terrible. And she's not bringing anything to the table as far as buffs. And that's pretty much it. So, moving on to number 8. Alright, at number 8 we have Sergeant Aura. Sergeant Aura is another one of those characters that's just not very good right now. She is a Gondor. I think it is a sheep. Yep, this one for sure. For sure a sheep. She's Gondor in the Gondor squad, but that's really non-existent right now. I think there's only one other Gondor. Yeah, here we go, Herondale. And other than that, though, she's really not even bringing that much to any squad. Her big thing she does bring is she can inflict mark, and she can do that on the first turn. So that is something to be aware of, that you could get around a taunt, and it is for 2 turns as well. So that's basically her only thing that I'm calling as a support. And when let me stop here and explain what I mean by a support character. So support character is someone that helps your team do X, all right? Whether that's, spread some buffs, cleanse some debuffs, dispel some enemies' buffs, things like that. It's basically making your team have this synergy to where it's working how it's supposed to work. So, Sergeant Aura does bring that marked. She does provide a little bit of defensive, but that is as far as the line goes. And we'll take a look at her stats. Below average health, average speed, damage output, not good. And she is providing a little bit of buffs, a little bit of turn meter reduction as well. But other than that, not the greatest character. Moving on to number 7. Alright, in number 7, we've got the big boy, Great Goblin himself. I was really, really excited to see this character in the game already. I just think it's cool to have a big fat goblin leading a team. Unfortunately, though, the Great Goblin is not great. And let me tell you why. First off, can we all admire this icon? Can we please, scratch that. Can we take this away? Can we take this icon away? That is just... Anyways, what I was saying was, the Great Goblin, it does have leadership. It's providing this Goblin Fury to Goblin squad members. Now, Goblin Fury, we'll look here, it gains plus 5% damage and plus 5% focus per stack. But that is saying all of your, to get a max stack of 8, is all of your squad has to die, basically. They are going to die once and come back anyway, but even if all 4 other goblins die once, that's only 20% damage, which is not even half of a damage up. Might is what they call it in this game. So it's not that great of a leadership. Other than that, he's not really supporting much. He has a kind of a big attack here where he calls a bunch of goblins. Right here, he is gonna grant might for 1 turn, while also calling the highest damage to assist. And yeah, he's really not a great support character. So unfortunately, that's where he's gonna lie, at number 7. And he should be at number 10 regardless for this monstrosity right there. Okay, at number 6, we have Miri. Now, I was tempted to leave Miri out of this list because although she is labeled as a support character, she is more of a damage dealer, I feel like. But anyway, she is crucial to that Ranger team, and I'll show you why in just a second. So I decided to keep her in here. And a decent character, stats-wise overall. I think the Ranger team will have some viability later on. But there's a lot of good characters in that team. They're just synergy-wise not working too great together right now. So let's take a look at her abilities here. The thing that's making her help this Ranger squad out is this ability right here, her second special ability. Attack the target for 255% damage and inflict 1 stack of bleed for 2 turns. If the target enemy has a Bane, Grant Eagle Eye to one random ranger ally for 1 turn. Now, why is that important? Let's go over here to Halbarad, who is the only leader of the ranger squad right now. And his leadership is when a ranger squad member receives Eagle Eye, grant advantage for 1 turn and grant 10% turn meter to that squad member. So advantage, that's an automatic crit, which is huge. And so that's Miri is kind of this bridge to help other people in this squad actually use this leadership ability. So that's why I kept her in as number 6 support character. We'll take a look at her stats. We forgot to look at the Great Goblin stats. He actually has, I think, the highest health in the game. He is a large character, and that also comes with some bad speed. But he does have some decent damage, and so he actually might make our top 10 damage list. I don't know. We'll have to see later. But, okay, as far as Miri goes, Miri's got some below average health and armor, so she's a little squishy. Her speed is good, though. Best speed we've seen so far. And her damage output is good. Other than that, like I said, she's basically given that Eagle Eye, which is going to give you an automatic advantage. Alright, here we are at number 5, halfway through. Number 5, we have Mary Brandybuck. So we're getting up to where these support characters actually start looking like support characters. And that is what Mary is pretty much all there for. Mary's there to support. That's all he's pretty much good at right now. And to be honest, he's not that great at it. And part of it has to do, I think his kit's a little bit lacking. And also the Road to Rivendell team is just not that great right now, unfortunately. I do think that they will be better in the future. They could be better. They're also definitely going to be required for some kind of legendary. So if you've invested in them, don't feel too bad that you're sucking in arena right now. It's okay. I think things will get better for you. Let's look at Mary's kit. Big things with Mary is this second ability right here. Dispel 3 boons from the target and inflict Mart for 1 turn. That's another way to get around a taunt, is that Mart. You can call a random ally plus an additional Hobbit ally. So it's a pretty big attack. My only gripe is that it has a 1 turn cooldown. It starts on a 1 turn cooldown. So you can't use it right off the bat to get around a first round taunt. Which that's unfortunate. If this was you were able to start right away, I think he would be a little higher on this list, honestly. Let's look at his third ability here. This is a really big ability. Grant haste for 2 turns to all squad members. A 2-turn haste, that's good. That you can start lapping people on that. Grant 1 stamina to 1 random Hobbit ally, and grant 1 stamina to 2 additional random allies. So that's awesome. Stamina is in decreasing your cooldowns. I think I said that right. Decreasing, not increasing. It's where you're going to be able to use your turns quicker. It's going to refill your stamina. And that's pretty big. He's also got some synergy here with Pippin. And his basic calling a random Hobbit ally to assist. So his big support moves here are his second ability and his third ability. We'll take a look at his stats. You can see that it's not that great until we get to speed. Speed, he is very fast. Damage is pretty much non-existent. But he does have some strong buffs and strong debuffs. Let me explain that for a second first. Our strong buffs, I'm calling that as haste, nimble, things like that that really give a strong advantage. Whereas a normal debuff would be like a defensive up or something like that. A strong debuff, on the other hand, is a blind, a disable, something that really keeps the enemy team from either hurting you or using ability, things like that. And then your normal debuffs are maybe like your bleeds, your poisons. So that is it for Mary at number 5. All right, number 4, we've got Morza. Now, a lot of people, I think, are sleeping on Morza a little bit. You should definitely sleep on him. what I'm saying is Morza he's not as bad as people think he is. He is actually one of the tankiest in the games, which is pretty good. You can see he's got this 15% max health plus 15% armor. That's a pretty big buff. So Morza, what he's bringing to the table is this A3 right here, is dispel 1 boon on all enemies, and then you're inflicting expose for 2 turns on the target enemy, and then you're granting haste for 1 turn to all squad members. And you can use this ability right away, which I think is why it puts him above Mary, in my opinion. He's not the greatest character. He's probably the worst on the Isengard team, but this ability right here, I think it makes it worth it for him to be in that full squad. I think that's a pretty good ability. And let's also keep in mind that he is giving a debuff, or a bane if you want to call it that, on every one of his abilities. And every time an Isengard inflicts a bane, all Isengard members gain 5% health, I believe. You are getting some health back on every one of his turns if you inflict that bane. Let us look at his stats real quick. Like I said, he is very tanky. Check out that armor with your health, speed, average. Check out that focus, aka potency. And his damage output, yeah, it's non-existent. He's not going to be there to do any kind of damage, but he is bringing some strong debuffs, and as well as normal debuffs to your team. So let's move on to number 3. Alright guys, so we are up to the top 3, and these last 3 characters here were really hard to order. You'll see that they are definitely more of your stronger support characters in this game right now. Their kits are just, very easily better than the rest of this list. And at number 3, we have the Lady E herself. Eowyn is going to be your light side campaign leader right off the bat. The Rohan team is incredibly free-to-play friendly, and they are a really good squad. They are right now probably the arena meta, some variation of their team. I think they'll, even with Elrond and his team coming out, I think they're still going to be a strong light side team. So she is a great character to level up, and I'm sure you're already using her. And she's really going to help you get through that campaign, the light side campaign. And we'll take a look at her leadership first, and that is Rohan squad members gain plus 45% crit chance during assists and counterattacks. And they have a lot of synergy with assists and counterattacks built in, so this is a really great leadership. So right away, she is supporting her team by being a leader. Her passive, it is a little selfish I would say. It's a great passive. She gains counterattack and so many defenses. I've had times where she's had like 6 or 7 defensives. If an enemy isn't attacking her, she's just going to keep building. But she's gaining turn meter as well, but she's really not providing anything else to the team. We'll take a look at her A3. She's going to cleanse 2 Banes from self and then 1 Bane from all allies. And then she's going to attack the target enemy for 210% damage, plus a 10% additional damage per Bane, and then inflict disable, which is ability block, on the target enemy. So that's great, especially in arena. So this is a really good ability. And it's a 4-turn cooldown, which it comes up fairly fast. The second ability is also great. You're granting might to all squad members and calling the ally with the highest damage to assist. So say you have Gaz Ironhide with a super high damage, you're giving him might and calling him to assist right off the bat to whoever you want. Great ability. And I really like it that you can use it on the first turn. And then she's gaining some more defensive on her basic. So these 2 abilities plus her leadership is why I think she definitely deserves the number 3 spot on this top 10 list. I think she arguably could be number 2. Let's take a look at her stats real quick. Health, okay. Armor, okay. Speed, pretty good. You can see her damage is not bad. And we can see our normal buffs are pretty good. So she's not bringing a whole lot of damage. She's not super tanky, but she is supporting her team through that leadership and through those abilities. So for that reason, she is number 3. All right, at number 2, we have Gandalf's favorite, Pippin Took. Pippin is kind of cheating because he's also a healer. Even though it doesn't say healer up here, it's on his tags, he has a pretty darn good heal in his second ability. And so that's kind of what's pushing him up here on the top of this list. But let's take a look at his kit, this basic ability. Dispel 1 boon from your enemy on a basic? That's pretty awesome. And he is going to be getting called to assist on the Road to Rivendell team a decent a bit. So you're going to be dispelling more than just on your every turn that you use basic. Let's look at his special 1 here. Old Maggot's Mushrooms. Old Maggot himself giving you the mushrooms. You're going to heal all squad members for 800 health and 18% of this character's max health, as well as cleansing 1 bane from all squad members. Great ability. Cleansing and healing on the same turn. Really, really awesome. I think that'll be key going through, later in the game when you have characters that are putting heal block on. Right now I only have 2 characters that do heal block, I believe. But I think that's pretty cool. You can cleanse that bane and then keep healing. So that's a great ability. And then we'll take a look at A3, grant might. So you're granting might to all squad members, just like Eowyn. And then you've got some synergy there with Merry. This might, the only bad thing is that it's starting on 1 turn cooldown. And then let's take a look at this passive here. You're also cleansing 1 bane from a random squad member on his turn. So every turn you're cleansing bane. He's really keeping you squeaky clean on your team. I will say he is pretty squishy. As we take a look at his stats here, armor is pretty bad as well as his health. He is fastest character so far, so he's got that going for him. And his damage, as you see, is god awful. But this healing is good. It's nice. It's honestly right up there with all the other heals. There are better heals in the game, but it's a pretty good heal. And that healing per turn, that's just kind of the average amount that you're healing your team over 10 turns, and then divide that by 10. And as you can see, he's giving us a lot of buffs, some strong debuffs as well. Alright guys, we made it to the number 1 spot, and surprise, surprise, it is the brand new character of Arwen. Now Arwen is very good. I think Pippin and Lady E are right up there with her. But I do think Arwen has the edge, and I think she will continue to have the edge as the game progresses. Now Arwen is, I think, very plug and play character. She is definitely going to thrive better on that elf team, but she is pretty plug and play. So let's take a look at her kit. On her basic, she is granting defensive to the most wounded squad members. So there's right away, she's a supporting character like that. On her special 1, she is attacking the target enemy for 270% damage, dispelling 2 boons. So dispelling the enemy's boons, and then gaining turn meter based off of each of the boon on herself. So this is really cool. If she had 5 boons, she's gonna basically go again, take another turn immediately, which is cool. And I think you will get there. You definitely will get there with an elf team. Right now I'm using her in arena, and she's good. She just doesn't have enough boons to kind of boost that ability. So we'll take a look at her A3 here. Cleanse 1 bane from all squad members. So there's that cleanse. And then you're going to grant 1 stack of regeneration for 1 turn to all squad members, and 1 additional stack to squad members below 50% health. And then grant immunity to the most wounded Rivendell squad member. So that's pretty huge. You're again protecting the weakest member, and that regeneration is nice. It's not a heal. If this was a heal, I mean, she would be OP for sure. But this cleanse 1 Bane is pretty nice. And then finally her passive, which I think is why she's at this #1 spot, is when a squad member, so any squad member, doesn't have to be an elf, drops below 50% health, grant them 1 stack of Nimble. And Nimble is just an automatic dodge. And it's huge. The AI is going to could potentially waste a good ability on that dodge. You're not going to get any damage. Fun fact, even a multi-attack hit, so like Aragorn's multi-attack fire stick hit, where he just beats somebody up with a fire stick, whoever has Nimble is going to evade all 3 of those attacks. For some reason, that's just how they coded the game. That is working as intended, I asked the dev. And if they are a light character, 50% chance to cleanse 1 Bane from them. So you're going to cleanse, you have a 50% chance to cleanse a Bane, and once you drop below 50% health, and you're definitely going to gain a stack of Nimble. So this is just like an extra failsafe. Boom, I'm below 50% health. Let me help you out here. Let me give you a stack of Nimble. And that is, I think, really, really, really cool. And it's why it makes her so plug and play viable. Like I said, she's going to thrive better on that elf team, but she is a great character. We'll take a look at her stats here. They're good. They're not amazing, but they're good. The health is pretty good. Her speed is above average. Good resistance focus. Her damage output is not the greatest. Her A2 does do decent damage. But really she's there for those strong buffs and those other normal buffs to spread around to the team, keep your team healthy, and keep them alive. And yeah, that's what a good support character is for. And that is it. Like I said, I will be giving this spreadsheet away to the public. It is the one spreadsheet to rule them all. Alright guys, that is it. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, please feel free to subscribe, give a like to the video, and stay tuned. We'll be having more top 10s, other content coming out, other videos, and I'm really enjoying this game so far, and I'm hoping to bring you some really good down-to-earth advice, some hard stats to help you make decisions. So if you like that kind of stuff, feel free to stick around. Thank you guys.